Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 23rd part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I believe links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 23, The Battle of Hosu begins. Hosu was in shambles as the three Nomu attacked the city. It was a mess as fires burned as the strange monsters attacked. Izuku landed and headed where the insanity was going on. As he ran around searching for the problem, he heard a voice yell out, "Tenya! Where are you, Tenya?" Izuku headed where the yelling was coming from. That was when he saw two more Nomus. He got more flashes from the USJ. But he knew whatever those monsters were, they were something similar to what he remembered at the USJ. He watched as the various heroes tried to take home the Nomus, including Manuel, the normal hero. Which, as it turned out, was the hero that Ida was interning with. Wait, that's not like him at all, thought Izuku, who started to sweat. Something must be going on. That was when a hero told him he should leave. Right, said Izuku. But as he watched, he overheard Manuel talking about how Ida wasn't there, and Izuku realized something. Hosu City, this is that city where Stain attacked, thought Izuku. He ran off to find Ida, worried about what he might have done. On a roof, Shigaraki was taking in all that was going on. "We get it," said Priestess, "you're loving the destruction. Aren't you going to join and show any of the heroes their pat lives?" said Shigaraki. "While you and the other idiot were fight, I stepped out for a bit and got a couple heroes," said Priestess, showing off that her thumb and index finger were twitching a bit, a sign that she used her quirk. One of them was something of a fighter, so he fought back. Not only did he have an unpleasant death, but he also had a really weird last few years before he died. Probably unlocked a memory he forgot. It was a weird memory. Well, that doesn't matter. When the night is over, the world will have forgotten you ever existed, hero killer, mocked Shigaraki. Meanwhile, Izuku was running using observation haki and full cowling. As he ran, he began to think, those things were probably made by the League of Villains. And with the hero killer, they have to be connected somehow, he thought. That was when he found Ida, with two other people nearby. One of them with a sword about to kill him. I knew it, he thought. He went after the hero killer. He jumped over quickly and kicked Stain hard. He looked at saw Ida on the ground and got in between him and Stain. "Midoriya," said Ida. "Do you think you can get up?" said Izuku. "No. I can't move my body since he cut me. It must be his quirk," said Ida. "I heard the reports say something like that might be his quirk," said Izuku. He looked at the nearby pro hero. "If it was just Ida, I could carry him, but there's two of them," thought Izuku. Stain struggled to get up. He looked up and saw Izuku. "It's that kid," thought Stain, "the one that they wanted dead." "Midoriya, please leave. This doesn't have anything to do with you," yelled Ida. "Ida," said Izuku. You showed up to save your friend's life. You even made a big entrance," said Stain, "but your friend chose to fight me. It guaranteed that the weaker of us world be culled. Great, I'm dealing with a psycho," thought Izuku, slipping into Sanji mode. He had suddenly took out both his phone and his tracker. With his phone he sent out a text to anyone he could, his coordinates, while he hit the emergency beacon button on his tracker. A few minutes earlier in his apartment, Hibiki was on the phone with someone. "Why didn't you tell me that the transceiver never came?" yelled Hibiki. "I'm sorry, it must have gotten lost in the mail," said the person he was talking to. "Why didn't you tell me days ago?" yelled Hibiki. "Well, I," said the man on the other end. "What were you too embarrassed to tell me?" said Hibiki. "I," said the man. "What? Seriously?" yelled Hibiki. "I mean, it's not that bad," said the man on the other end. He's probably been wandering through Japan the last 3 days. Yelled Hibiki. I'm sorry. Yelled the man on the other end. I don't want to hear it. Yelled Hibiki, I don't want to hear from you for a while. Hibiki hung up the phone. I'll go track him. Sighed Aiko. Thanks. Sighed Hibiki, can tonight get any worse? That was when Hibiki heard a beeping and paled. You just had to jinx it. Said Aiko. Is it? Asked Hibiki. No, it's Izuku, oh fudge monkeys. He's in Hosu. Said Aiko. Go check on him now. Said Hibiki, getting up to put on his hero costume. I just did. I did without saying anything because the situation is that serious. Said Aiko, it appears Izuku is fighting the hero killer. Get your ass in gear and save your kids. What do you mean kids? Yelled Hibiki, what's going on? I'll explain when you're dressed and flying there. Said Aiko. Hibiki knew he had to get there fast. Back in the alley of Hosu City. I don't think anyone is coming. I just have to stall for time until one of them can move again. Thought Izuku, I've dealt with plenty of psychos like this in my past life, what's one more in this life? Midoriya. I said run away. This isn't you fight. Said Ida. So we're saying we're not friends? Asked Izuku. What? Asked Ida. Especially after you wanted to fight Bakugo for me. Said Izuku, how that any different? Said Ida as his eyes widened. You really think that I'm just going to leave because you tell me? Asked Izuku. He's right. Called out a very familiar voice. That was when suddenly something came flying towards Stain and exploding in a bright flash of light and confetti. What? Asked Izuku. Izuku turned where the strange attack came from. He saw a set of clothes floating, with a strange-looking bazooka. Of course it meant one person. Toru? Asked Izuku. However, Toru didn't notice him, but rather looked at Ida as two small red fiery pit appeared where they assumed her eyes were. Ida, you broke a pinky promise. Yelled Toru in a voice that sounded like many voices talking at once. What? Said Ida, honestly confused. I nearly burned cupcakes because you broke your promise. Yelled Toru in the same voice. Toru. I don't think it's a good time for this. Said Izuku with a massive sweat drop. Oh hey. Izuku, almost forgot you were here. Said Toru back in her normal voice as the fiery pits disappeared. Then she saw Stain recover from her attack. You're right, I'll worry about that later. Said Toru. Izuku would question how Toru got there in such a short amount of time despite interning in a different prefecture. But two things, it was Toru and she had gotten insane abilities from her past life, and the other was Izuku gave up on logic when he got his past life memories. Toru began to take off her clothes, causing Izuku to look away. Ida, close your eyes. I'm already mad enough at you already. Said Toru. What? Asked Ida, confused. Who are you? Asked Stain. I'm a friend that he made a promise to that he wouldn't go after you. Said Toru as she removed her shirt and bra. You think you can back me up? Asked Izuku. Oh yeah. Said Toru as she took off her skirt, also please don't get a nosebleed right now, because I heard and that would be really bad. Izuku just blushed and looked away where she was. She was invisible, but the Sanji part of him was reacting and reacting badly. He faced towards Stain. I'll provide backup. Said Toru. Right. Said Izuku. He activated both full cowling and observation haki. That was when he sensed someone right now. Are you shitting me right? He yelled, slipping in Sanji mode. Everyone looked at Izuku confused. Then a voice not too far away called out. Now where am I? They all turned and saw Mashireo. Mashareo? Asked Toru. Yes, the reason why it wasn't shown was that he got lost. Though that conversation Hibiki was having was obviously about him, but still yeah, he got lost. What? Izuku, Toru. Ida? What's going on? He asked, clearly confused. I'll ask later. But I could use your help. Called out Izuku, who was clearly ready to facepalm. Mashareo nodded, noticing the villain. He took off his jacket and tie and set it with his costume case, which he was carrying. I don't think he came because you called, said Stain, staring at the boy with a tail. No, he just happened to stumble upon this, said Izuku. So who is he? Asked Mashareo. Stain, the hero killer, said Toru. You're serious, said Mashareo. So that explains the cryptic message, said a voice. They saw that it was yet another of their classmates, this time it was Todoroki. Turned out his father came to Hosu to stop the hero killer, and because he was interning there, he was in town. Izuku breathed a sigh of relief as he joined the other three that were there. Stain glared at the assembled teens in front of him. It was clear that they would protect their friend. Back at Hibiki's place, he had gotten dressed and was on the balcony. He placed his visor over his eyes, put on his headphone. He activated his music player and music began to blare from his body. He jumped off his balcony and blasts propelled from his feet, making him fly. His visor was a display, as hearing things beyond music would affect his quirk. It added as a visual display for talking to people over the phone as well as Aiko. Aiko, said Hibiki. Aiko, Yuzu's trying to call. Put her on, said Hibiki. Yuzu, hey Hibiki, don't get mad, but I kind of lost Toru. What do you mean you kind of lost her? Asked Hibiki. Yuzu, it's weird, she was baking cupcakes and once they were done she said she had to do something. She completely vanished before I could stop her. Aiko, I know where she is, you're not going to believe it though, well maybe, she does have weird powers. Although Hibiki wasn't getting any audio, Yuzu could hear Aiko, so it was a three-person conversation. Where is she? Asked Hibiki. Aiko, Hosu. Are you kidding me? Yelled Hibiki. Aiko, I checked the records of her tracker, she left before Izuku sent out the distress call, which deeply worries on a number of levels, but she is with them. Yuzu, I would question it, but after everything I've seen from her. Where does the cupcakes even come from? Aiko, don't question the cupcakes. Great, now I have to worry about two of them. Muttered Hibiki. Aiko, about that. Who went there? Yelled Hibiki. Aiko, let's just say he took a wrong turn at Albuquerque and wound up in Hosu. Is he? Said Hibiki. Aiko, sigh he is. Hibiki would have facepalmed, but he had added his hands to flight. Keep an eye on everything, only talk if you have to, said Hibiki. Aiko, alright. Yuzu, good luck. Because it sounds like you're really going to need it. Thanks, said Hibiki, I don't blame you for Toru, she's a real handful sometimes. Yuzu, thanks. Yuzu, sigh, but I'm still going to get in trouble for this. Sorry, said Hibiki. Yuzu, just make sure you get the reason why she left. Don't worry, I will, said Hibiki, I should really focus on my flight path. Yuzu, right. Call me when everything's over. Yuzu has hung up. You better have a good reason, thought Hibiki. Meanwhile, back in Hosu, the 14s got ready for a sight. The pros will show up, said Todoroki. I know, said Izuku, but we need to hold him back until they show. You have a plan? Asked Mashareo. I do, but be careful, said Izuku, if he cuts you, you'll fall for his quirk. The other three nodded. Todoroki, you'll stay in the back and provide long-range attacks. Mashareo, you'll help with close range. Toru, said Izuku. I'll do my thing, said Toru. Izuku nodded, what was exactly what he was going to say. Stain looked at the ensembled group and gritted his teeth. This wasn't how he expected his night to go. However, he knew it wasn't going to be an easy night. Because he remembered what Priestess told him, that Izuku was the strongest soul she had ever reawakened. He got his sword ready for the fight. None of them were sure what was going to happen, but one thing was for sure, it was going to be a tough fight. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 24. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.